As many of you probably know, although I'm the Vedic astrologer, I'm quite skeptical about many practices in the broad esoteric community. This is especially true for such wide and uncontrollable environments like, for example, this conspiracy theories forums and things like that. Today we'll be talking about the spiritual yogas in the chart and also about the reincarnation, and we'll be going through some examples. One will be the reincarnation therapist. So without going into if she could see her past lifetimes or if she can do the same for the patients, we will try nevertheless to answer the question, what is the exact methodology or approach when we want to see if someone is spiritual or not, what kind of yogas we can analyze in their charts. Just a sidetrack, the cautious sidetrack is that our tradition is not supporting this regression going back, because in those practices, what we are doing is that we are crossing this death and life, we could say sacred border, sacred line. And as you maybe know, this is also happening at birth and at death. And therefore, this Vedic Shastras, the Vedic texts say that in these moments, we are going through some crossing of Shunya between the worlds, and therefore we got contaminated in those times, and for 40 days we are not able to do the mantras, or at least they are not working. So for those people who are into this Brahmana activities or Brahmana work, they are living in such lifestyles of Sattva Guna, which demands high spiritual practice or some kind of discipline, the mantra practice, the meditation. This is quite important for jobs like astrology. Therefore, those people who are into these, according to our tradition, they are specifically cautious about not delving into those practices like regressing, channeling, or all of such returns to the past life. At the beginning, we will look at the opinions which are circulating around the YouTube and internet, and then we will go to that straight methodology of our tradition, how we approach the topics of the spiritual yoga. So maybe you have them in the chart. Stay till the end, because we will be going through a few levels of analysis. First, what are the general circulating opinions? Definitely, we know that the Rahu and Ketu, they are quite popular. I remember that on the Instagram, whenever I was publishing anything related to Rahu and Ketu, I got always so much response, and this was really popular topics. People love those transcendence, Rahu and Ketu, because they are crossing this mainstream religion or mainstream spirituality, and this is what we want. This is what is at least exciting. So many people are thinking, yes, Rahu and Ketu are those spiritual planets. Then we have those Sun and Jupiter, definitely. Sun more for enlightenment, and the Jupiter is also for the knowledge. And many people are saying, yes, they have to be in first the lagna to imbibe those energies, or maybe at least in the 5th and the 9th house of knowledge and religion, and also the moon, right? Moon with the nodes is also quite popular to say that, yes, you are spiritual, like people have moon with Ketu. And then, of course, the 8th house. Some are saying the 12th house in the Western tradition, also 12th house. There's the Neptune, the Pisces, the liberation, but especially for this esoterics, the 8th house is quite important for that spirituality. And we wouldn't here say no. We have to be fair, because if we read, for example, Brihat Parasharahora Shastra, the main Vedic astrology text, yes, the 8th house also have a lot to do with esoterics and spirituality. Problem is, however, that this is one option. For many, many people, 8th house may open in other way. This shelf, this highest shelf, may not be available. Therefore, you will see many hardcore materialists who will have many planets in the house, even the Moon and Ketu, even the Sun, Jupiter, and this will just open for them as some kind of inheritance or things like that. What is important, we need to have something which is repeating in the charts of spiritual people, and that which is not there in those who are not spiritual. Then if we will find those yogas, then we are more happy that yes, we have found some key to decipher if we can be spiritual. Definitely not these yogas we mentioned, right? Many people who have Moon and Ketu, they may be photographers. In our tradition, we know that this yoga may be related to beauty or photography and recording the beautiful things in life. Also, the 8th house, as said, can be opening in the wealth of the spouse, for example, or inheritance or other such interesting situations. So let's see what is the right approach here. By the way, we have to accept and remind ourselves that in Vedic astrology, the reincarnation is the important part of the whole paradigm, right? In the Prashna Marga, it's said that the past karma coming from past life is represented in our natal chart. Whatever we did from the birth to now will be in the Prashna chart. So the Jataka, the birth chart, and the Prashna chart, these will show about what we did and therefore what is the karmic map. There's a lot about this past life paradigm in the Sharavari or Jataka Parijata. And when we talk about reincarnation, we understand it in such a way, according to Vedic scriptures, that we are the soul and we are covered by 2 types of bodies, the Stula Sharira and also the Linga Sharira, which is the physical body, and also the subtle body. The subtle body has 3 components: the mind, the intelligence, and the ahamkara, which is the false ego. Now, there are some differences because some people are saying that the mind is going with us to the next life. Some are saying that we are leaving the mind and just the soul enters the new body. There is also something like a karmic body. Probably this could be attributed to the Charakaraka level in our chart, like we have this Atmakaraka, Amatyakaraka, the special hierarchy of planets based on the degrees. The planet with the highest degrees in our chart is called Atmakaraka and is representing our spirit. So definitely that part is going with us from the past life to the next life or to the current life. We are experiencing basically the past life, whatever we are dealing with, all that crazy stress of adult life, be it paying the bills or having some, being exposed to some conflicts or court cases or financial problems, a relationship, marriage issues, the work stress with the colleagues, with the boss, changing of them to the other country. All of these things are, we could say, the drama of just experiencing the past life karma. In the chart, we can even say how many such lifetimes karma is creating this experience for this movie in this life. Is it 3 or 2 or 1? And this we can also see in the chart. And there is also a way to see some form, some representation, some dynamics of what we were doing in the past life in the special chart called Shastyamsa. And what's interesting, it's not based on some kind of esoteric insights, which are very subjective and they are very prone to error, because as we know, it's very easy to mistake intuition for some kind of just mental sound, mental audio. Very hard. We may think it's intuition, but it may be just some thoughts which could be random or chaos. But astrology is giving us that objective source. We have the birth date, we have the birth time, the birthplace, and based on that, we can have the chart, D60. So at least the symbols are stable. We have some foundation. Of course, there will be different schools to interpret that. There may be some here place for error, for mistakes, but at least the foundation, the source is there, and it's only for us based on our birth date and birth time. Also, what is spirituality? This is also the question, right? We would say that there is also the religion, which is going from tamas to sattva guna. There are many rules, and which are psychological and also which are created to work in the community. We are entering more hyper-individualistic lifestyle, but previously we were more communal animals. Higher, we are going to sattva guna. We could say that the more religious, the more subtle, the more ethical we are. But there is this deva place. Many devas or many gods, according to Vedic scriptures, they say they are living in the sattva guna. They are experiencing very nice, subtle lifestyle. They are doing yoga. They have probably some detox smoothies kombuchas, all those nice, crazy, exotic, spiritual, so-called spiritual things popular in the yoga circles, because it's sattva, it's a deva place. This is something different than spirituality, because spirituality is the effort to attain liberation. Now, there are also many speculation what that means. Some people, which are called Advaitis, they are saying that this is attaining the absolute, which is the Brahman impersonal. Some people like Devaitis or Advaita are saying that this is the getting the pure love of God, which is the bhakti with Krishna or with Shiva or based on the school. So how much spiritual we could say that it is the where you are in that path to liberation. This is also a twist. There may be many spiritual people who are not practicing spirituality. They may even say they are atheists, but their awareness can be quite high. Like many philosophers, they got to some point, at least in some form of jnana yoga. But there are also many people who are not spiritual, who will be fighting in the tamasic, rajasic environment, but who may practice a lot of spirituality. So also these two distinctions will be there. And therefore also in the chart, the 9th house is more about that religiosity, Sagittarius, 12th house is more about that mukti-centered spirituality, where the tapa is very important. Renunciation and also the willingness to perform some kind of austerities or sacrifice. This is quite important to remove oneself from the rajas and tamas of the enjoyment and to really go to that inner ananda, inner blessing or happiness coming from the spirituality. So where our tradition says that what is really important will be the 11th house. Because 9th house is showing the father, 10th house is showing the boss, 11 is showing also some kind of superior, but this is our guru. And there is a tradition, there is the natural Aquarius, we have the Kailash, the Shiva, and the guru, transmission of knowledge, 5th and 11th. The Jnana Yoga is going there. Therefore, we say if Atmakaraka is related to 11, then person can be, right? This is also one point. This is like the soul is ready, but we need to also see the other levels of our beings. If other points allow, this could be quite authentic, right? Because if Atmakaraka is going somewhere, then we say we are really devoted to it. We are really there. So it's not fake, it's really authentic. And then many times we will see Mars also giving that blessings, because Mars is a fiery Raha. So on one hand is giving that vision, Sun, Mars and Ketu, these are the fiery planets. But on the other hand, among the Vedanga, the Jyotisha, which is the seeing the future, is related to the Grishma Ritu, Sun and Mars. Therefore, people who are into Jyotish, they will have some strong placement of these planets. So things like Mars in 11 and Atmakaraka, this can add now the type of tradition, parampara or spirituality person is into. Second level is Navamsa Trikona, 1st, 5th and 9th. Spiritual people will have there some form of demand grahas, which is Sun, Jupiter, Rahu and Ketu. Sun and Jupiter is showing being enlightened, getting the broad knowledge like Jupiter. A lot of Puranas is going through our mind, our brain. Ketu is very traditional, and Rahu can, on one hand, give interest in mantra shastra. People are very good at Sanskrit and all those rules, how to get the best results from this metaphysical tool to change our karma. And Rahu can also show somehow non-traditional way of prognosticating the future. It could be some tarot, clairvoyance, and other things which are not very traditional, but nevertheless also may show some kind of skill or interest in that direction. Then we have Arudha lagna. This is the special point in the chart which will decide the sector or the group of people you belong to. And we need to check the planet in the Arudha, planet lording the Arudha, and Rasi Drishti on the Arudha. Rasi Drishti is the sign aspect. If it's Sun, you are Maharaj, which can mean that you are either political group and or other form of Maharaj is spiritual. And the nodes are Rahu and Ketu. If the nodes have something to do with Arudha, then also we say that person may belong to that esoteric field, right? So for now we have 3. Atmakaraka somehow related to 11, the Navamsa Trikona related to the nodes Sun, Jupiter, and Arudha somehow related to Sun and the nodes. The next thing, which is very important in context of profession and work, would be to very nice tool which was shared in our tradition. Luckily, we get access to this through our good karma from past life, 10th Lord from Rashi chart, if we take this to the Dashamsa, then this can also, when in 4th, 8th, and 12th, we call it Moksha Ayana. This is enabling the person working in spiritual sector or sector related to charity, right? So those spiritual people, they may have that planet connected to the Moksha Ayana. Okay, so we have some nice recite. Let's see in the first example of Marian, not Shalet and Bor. I probably butchered this name, so forgive me. And let's start with 11th house. Do we have some connection to Atmakaraka? Yes, Mars is Atmakaraka in the 11th house. By the way, this is the person who is working as a reincarnation therapist, right? As I said, we are not going there if it's true or not. We are just want to see if there are some spiritual yogas in the chart. Is it authentic, at least effort to go in that direction? The way this Rahu and Jupiter in Trikona, also nice. And this is also a way to open, to transcend the religion and go into a bit deeper than this mainstream religion. And Atmakaraka in the 11th house, what about the Arudha, right? Arudha, lagna lord is in the 4th house. So when ascendant lord is in the 4th house, Arudha will also be in the 4th house. This is one of the exceptions. And here, this is with the sun and in the Scorpio. I also know one quite popular astrologer, Western astrologer from Poland, but working with the Vedic groups, interestingly, has the same yoga, Leo ascendant and the Mercury Sun in the 4th house in the Scorpio. Okay, so we have 11th house, we have Arudha. What about the Navamsha Trikona? Probably here we would go to the Leo. If we go only 4 minutes later, we will have Leo Lagna with Jupiter and Sun in the Trikona. But this is up to you. Work on the chart. Let me know in the comments, what do you think? Mercury with in the Cancer, it's more for we could say scientific-based psychology, right? It's definitely for doctor or psychologist, but for the spiritual thing, if you are into those fiery Agni branches of knowledge, then we would expect more Leo Lagna. And in the D10, this is very, very interesting. 10th Lord from the Rashi chart is Venus and Moon. And we need to see those planets in the chart of career Dashamsa. They are in the 10th house, but there is Parivartana, exchange between Moon and Mercury. Therefore, it's going from administration to the spiritual field. And if you read her biography, she was secretary of Philips company, and then she moved after some time into this therapy. So it's very nicely there. And also the time when it happens, the move was in Mercury Dasha, 8th house. So 8th house shows ending the project, finish the job. And when she started her own company in the Venus Antardasha, Venus is in 10th house of company. So as usual, if you have the rectified chart, you are using the sidereal, zodiac, and proper dasha, this will be very nice clicking. The houses will be activated at that time when such events are there. Probably the reincarnation thing is caused by Saturn and Ketu, because 7th Lord Mercury in the Cancer is showing business of psychology, but we have here the Saturn and Ketu, right? This may show the ghosts, the pretas, and therefore she may be into this reincarnation and things like that. Okay, let us now go to the second example of Judy Hall. And we have here Cancer Lagna, again with Rahu in it. So the nodes will be somewhere there. They are not enough. But if you have those spiritual yogas we are discussing now, then this Rahu and Ketu will give this additional layer. So what about Atmakaraka? Again in the 11th house. What is the planet? It's Mars. This person is also astrologer, but all of these 3 examples I've especially found those who are also into this regressing or channeling therapy, right? Because then we need those very spiritual yogas. It's not only some kind of psychologized astrology, but this is going more into this reincarnation part and all that. So in the Navamsha, we have Sun in the Lagna, right? We have the Rasi Drishti aspect of Rahu and Ketu, and the Jupiter is in the 9th. Very, very nice for astrology, right? Sun and Jupiter in the Trikona. What about the Dashamsa chart, the career life? We have here 7th Lord in the Virgo, aspected by Moon. Wow. So we have this Mercury and Moon. Jupiter is showing the consultancy. Maybe she's also teaching others. This is when the Jupiter is usually showing up. It's not related to the Mokshayana, but you will see that this Jupiter, this planet in the 4th house, is having a kartari of this Mars and Sun. So although this planet is not related to the 4th house, it is creating the very important yoga with the 7th and 10th Lord in the 4th house. Therefore, still the central position is the 4th house. And we forgot the Arudha lagna in the Rashi. It's in Libra, and Rahu and Ketu are in the Kendra, which is also showing the sector. And the Sun is in the 2nd from Arudha lagna, which is showing belonging to family of such spiritual aspirants. Okay, now we are going to the last chart of Stephen Poplin. The same story, astrologer and also someone who is into the regression and channeling. Let's see what we got here. In the Navamsha, we have Venus, Jupiter, Rahu in the 5th. So Rahu and Jupiter among the 4. In the Rashi chart, we have Arudha lagna with the Rahu. Quite straightforward. 10th Lord from Rashi is Mercury, and in the Dashamsa, this Mercury is in the 4th house. If you add 1 minute in the Shamsa, the ascendant is changing to the Virgo. And then we have Sun in the 7th house, Jupiter is the 7th Lord. So if person is into some form of consulting business, then definitely the Virgo is the case. And Jupiter, the 7th Lord, is with Rahu. So this Jupiter-Rahu yoga in the 9th house, which is showing also that this person will be teaching that. But the 10th Lord from the Rashi must be in the Moksha Kona, 4th, 8th, or 12th for spiritual type of job. Here we have Mercury in the 4th house. And very important, it is between Mars and Ketu. Mars and Ketu is again giving that fire, giving that direction more into this metaphysical thing like reincarnation, astrology, clairvoyance, something like that. Because otherwise it is also on the border of psychology. We need to have those fire and those nodes basically to go into more this metaphysical direction. This is the Vedanga, Jyotisha vibe, aura type of doing the thing. Okay guys, so I think that will do for today's video. Please don't forget to hit that thumbs up. It really helps the channel to make it more visible. If you like to see similar videos in the future, don't forget to subscribe. Join our courses if you like to have some structurized knowledge and go very quickly from beginning to the advanced. We have more than 60 hours recorded, and also the many examples, many traditional rules which will definitely work in the chart. You will be analyzed. For personal consultation also, you can hit me up and we can schedule one for you. Thanks for being here on the channel. Thanks for watching to the end. And if you are still hungry, please consider watching this one.